Well, I wake up in the morning, put my boots on like everybody does, grab my hat as I hit the door. But there's something different, there's something more. I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow, may death fear me. And when I run into the fire, Lord, may your hand lead and guide me. 'Cause I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. If I fall, carry me home, shed a tear, but no, I'm not alone. For those who fought and fell before me will be waiting to welcome me home. 'Cause I've got bullets in my pocket and a rifle in my hand. As I roll outside the wire, I know it might be my last stand. All the thoughts inside my head are mine and mine alone. The mission that's before me and the ones I leave at home. The ones I leave at home.
And welcome to another edition of the True Patriot Outfitters podcast. Folks, you were just listening to Mr. Jonathan Wells, one of our Stop 22 artists, one of the anchor members of the Stop 22 as well. He's been around like since the inception of this thing with Steven and the gang. And we're hoping to have Jonathan with us this evening. They're on the road right now, and they are in a tussling match with a campground here situation with power issues, this and that. So we'll see. But nevertheless, what we've got tonight on this episode, as promised, is a full update here. We're going to bring in the man himself, Mr. Brian Romans. He's joining us. We had a few other guests scheduled, and some things come up that have bumped them from this here, but it's all right. As usual, we'll adapt, we'll figure it out, we'll move on from there. We got a lot of cool updates to talk about, some stuff taking place over the summer, cool announcements, and of course, what's right on deck, man. And that is a bunch of just amazing events that are going to be taking place that you want to try to be a part of if we're coming to that neck of the woods where you're going to be at there. we'll have the field ops is going to be doing some cool stuff. We're going to have, of course, the wall, stop 22, you name it, man. The full tools that we have here. The disaster relief team has been is the barbecue competition team. They've been going hot and heavy out there on the East Coast. We were hoping to have one of those guys join us here, but we'll circle back with them and we'll do some more updates there. Before we get going too much further, this episode tonight being brought to you by Vicious Fishing. Y'all, Vicious Fishing, man, when it comes to the fishing line that we use out there when we're chasing brown and green fish all over the countryside, it's Vicious that is spooled up. At every one of our field ops events or the TPO events that we do, the warriors that come and join us, they leave with Vicious Fishing spooled up on their fishing gear that they get, and they get a couple extra spools to take with them as well to get them started and get them rolling with it. Go check them out at you'll see them Instagram at Get Vicious. Facebook is at Vicious Fishing. Check those guys out over there. And one last piece to say about Vicious is not only is it product that I trust, and I've said this before, you've heard me say it. Is there better fishing line out there? I don't know, maybe, but I know this is great fishing line that I use. It's priced properly and affordable, and above all, Greg and his team are just phenomenal people, and that is who we try to surround ourselves with, is good, solid companies that aren't there just to take your money and leave you on the side of the road. And that's Vicious Fishing, man. They're a great, solid company. They stand behind their products. They love their customers. They stand behind us, and they take care of you out there. So, all right, man. So enough of that. I got the man sitting in the green room here. We're going to pull him in. Let's welcome him to the podcast. Mr. Romans, how the heck are you, sir?
Are we live? Is this thing working?
Yes, it is. And yes, we are.
Hey, man, what's going on, everybody? I am doing great, fantabulous, as some would say. If I was any better, I'd be getting paid.
Wait, that's right. We're not. All right.
Right.
I had all these compliments lined up for you and everything. Let's just scratch that off.
Oh, there you go.
So, how the heck are you doing in the South there in Bama? How are things down there?
Well, as someone once said, and I hope this is like unfiltered access here, it's a fight between the devil's ball sack and a witch's brew of who's going to win this heat wave we got going on here. It's 100. They're expecting 110 degrees in a day and a half or whatever, and I'm just like, why? I didn't want to go back to Iraq, but here we are.
And I've been hearing this. It's right across, man. I mean, for whatever reason, we're getting hotter here. We were like 95 today. They're projected like 99. It's cranking up. I don't think we've had a 3-digit day out here, which normally we do, man. We're in the desert, normally we get hit with it, but yeah, it's been hitting the Midwest and to the South, man. You guys have just been getting cooked out there.
Yeah. Like I was on my way to a church function last night, and I grabbed some stuff. And I turn around, and Shannon's like, "Hey, you need to change your shorts." I'm like, "Why?" Because your ass is sweating. Roger that.
Yeah. Sergeant Swass, we need to get out of here.
That's right. You're sweltering. Yeah. It's time to change.
You can add in. You got swoobs as well. That can happen. Swoob weather, swesticles. You name it. It all happens. It's that humidity that you take that heat and you add in the humidity, and it is just pure sauna life, man. That's nut stuff. So listen, we've got a guy that just joined up here. I see him in the green room here that I wanted to bring in. I don't know if you had a chance to meet him or talk with him at the Thrillbillies event or not. But I did get an opportunity. I've been following him online, and I got a chance to chat with him a little bit. And then, look at this. In the green room, Mr. Wells is also here. It's a party now.
No, we're going to have a full house. Look at here.
There we are. So one sec here. Let me turn this thing off. because I don't have one for 4 of us. So let's go ahead and bring in.
Oh,
We're going to bring in Mr. Tony Eaton, who is, I believe, the founder of Down the Leash Service Dogs. Mr. Eaton,
Hey,
how the heck are you, sir?
I'm doing great, fellas. How you guys doing tonight?
look at that beard, man.
I'm telling you,
It's
got
taking me a
good.
hot minute to grow that.
We're gonna have to get you over to New England, man. They have that beard contest out there.
Nice, nice. And we have
It's easy
also
top in the house.
in the green room, we got the man himself who looks like he's still. I'm going to let him kind of work out some stuff here until he gets situated before we bring him on in the studio here. Tony, listen, brother, thank you for joining us here on the TPO, the podcast, man. This is, this is an example. I just want to set the stage real quick. So social media, right? We're using it. We're following each other. I see another nonprofit out there, so we connect just by following. Right, I see him out there. Well, then we get to the Thrillbillies thing in Illinois, and I see him walking there, and I'm horrible with names, but faces, and of course that beard, you don't forget that. So I see dude, he looks at me like he knows me, and it's like, hey man. So we shake hands, we talk. He's got his table set up there, and of course, you know me with animals in general, especially dogs. And I'm like, oh, this is so awesome, dude, that that we get a chance to finally chat a little bit. And then the wheels start going. As my fearless leader, Mr. Romans, has taught me, you're always looking for opportunities. Like, how can we lock shields together and further the mission and keep moving? Well, then lo and behold, a situation arises with one of our own. And immediately when you put that post up, right, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I know a dude that probably has some suggestions and thoughts. And bang, man, that was your advice there has helped, get the ball rolling and make a dent at least in a situation for Bella and a few, the family there to keep this thing going. It's that just sharing of information back and forth, and now we're going to find ways, and we've got it locked in our head. Any way we can help you guys out, we're going to try to do that with the podcast when we're at the next events. Bang, man, that's the whole piece. Tony, when did you start Down the Leash Service Dogs? When did you start that thing?
So this was kind of I got together with a gentleman. Actually, I met the guy's wife back in, I would say it was probably October. Oh, my dog keeps bumping the camera.
That's all right.
He's like, hey, what's going on in here? So yeah, I met this guy's wife. I would say it was even further back. It was probably maybe August, September is really when I met her. I was walking through the grocery store. I had my service dog with me. And next thing I know, this lady is coming up to me, and she's basically asking me how did I get my dog, and and she started telling me the story about her husband, who's a combat vet from Afghanistan and Iraq, and of course, I had to listen, and I told her, I says, well, listen, I'll help you to find a way to get this guy a dog. Well, one thing led to another. We started doing the research together. I met with him, and it was an instant friendship. All vets, it's kind of how we all are. We're family. It's kind of the family you never got to meet. And when you meet them, it's like you've known them for years. And so I ended up starting to talk to this guy, and I said, hey, listen, let's see what we can do. Well, a couple things that unfortunately fallen through for him. Where this other group that claims to be about veterans, they kind of passed him by, and I thought that was not right. They claimed that his PTSD was pretty much too bad. Well, that's ridiculous. How in the world can your PTSD be too bad in order to get a service dog? So I ended up telling him, I'm like, listen, man, I said, you get a dog, I'll help you train him. I trained my dog, and I've had my service dog we're going on almost 5.5 years now. And he was really surprised at that. So I told him, I says, we'll do this together. And About as fast as I said that, I go, you know what? I can help other veterans. Somebody helped me when I got my dog. It didn't cost me a dime to do mine. And I thought, you know what? I can do that for other guys. And unfortunately, the company that I went through, they've since gone out of business. And so I kind of picked up where they left off. And they were for profit. I'm a nonprofit. I'm actually a 501c3. So we officially started our company in January of this year. We started off with my buddy and his dog, and me and my dog, and then I had a friend of mine that was wanting to train a dog too. She's not a veteran, but just a young lady that I've known. She's kind of like a kid to me. So I said, hey, bring your dog over. We're going to do some training together.
Nice.
And so we started off with the 2 dogs. And we are actually up to about 13 dogs right now as we speak.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just took a new veteran on last night. I did their evaluation on Saturday, and she's actually my first female veteran, so which is pretty cool. It's kind of nice to have some women in the mix as well. And that's pretty much where we got started, man. So it's been technically since January of this year. And we are just growing so fast, and it has been truly a blessing for us. We're funded by donations and grants, things like that, and we're in the process of trying to get a big grant so that I can actually quit doing my career. I'm an electrician by trade, so that's how I keep the wheels running and keep them rolling. And I'll be glad when I can actually retire from that. I've been doing that for 30 years. So pretty much a couple years after I got out of the Marine Corps, I went into electrical. So I've been in the trades pretty much all my life, and did some other things, part-time. I was a part-time police officer for a while. I actually just retired from that. So I did that 11 years. Was a firefighter for several years. So I got a lot going on.
You know what? I'm going to say this, though, because this cannot be just coincidence. Another Marine? Are you kidding me, dog? I'm telling you, I gravitate to you guys. There's something about you Marines that, I tried the Navy. It didn't work, right? And so, of course, I had to poke fun. My ass rides in Navy equipment, right? That's what Marine stands for.
Yeah, I know. I get that all the time. Oh, we're a department of the Navy. Yeah, the men's department.
Amen to that.
But in my adult life, it just around every corner, the guys that I end up, connecting with, chatting with, working with, they're like, oh yeah, I'm a retired Marine, and I'm like, another one. It's just you guys. There's so few of you, so this is just so amazing. It's super cool, that these stars align like this. I'm telling you, I need to have like an auxiliary, like Marine helper title or something.
Well, if you were in the Navy and you were a corpsman, you'd be an honorary Marine.
Right. No, I never. That's a total different podcast. We never made it through the whole thing. I was in the early '90s. The Clinton drawbacks, and then the stupid Gene drawbacks, and it just didn't work out. But no, it was the closest I came. They told me if we were going to go AWOL, don't jump the south fence because that's the Marine base. They'll keep you.
So you were in San Diego then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm a Hollywood Marine right here.
There you go.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, I'm seeing Jonathan here. Let me jump him in real fast into the podcast. Just see. He looks like he's still kind of busy, but we'll let him know to take his time here. We got stuff we can chat with. Hang on a sec here.
Yeah, see what you got. Now, you notice something that
Look at
he
this
didn't pick up
smiley
on.
mug.
Tony's doing a bunch of stuff, firefighter, police officer, got his hands in a bunch of stuff. I mean, that's kind of synonymous with a bunch of Marines, don't you think?
It's the service, man, and you guys just it's
So we'll go over here.
It's born into you.
It's the adrenaline dump. We got to have that adrenaline.
That's right.
It really truly is. When we're in the Marine Corps, it's hard charging all the time, and I think that's kind of what I missed the most was that adrenaline dump, and that's why I went the route that I did. And
Yep.
you know, even electricity, you know, working as an electrician, you get some adrenaline dumps. You hit the wrong you hit the wrong thing, you're going to know about it.
I did a short stint of I did
It's
low
a
voltage.
shocking experience, I tell you.
Ah, he'll be here all week, folks. I did a small stint of some dairy farm work. I did low voltage, but inevitably I'd always get partnered up or called in to help the guys on the high voltage stuff. And there was some freaking three-way stuff that they made me like take wedding band off. And like I couldn't have any metal going into some of these areas. You guys are nuts working on that stuff.
All right, time out. Did anybody else capture that? He said some dairy farm work, and he's talking about three ways. What are you doing?
It gets cold sometimes.
Oh,
okay,
man.
look at that. We got a good ceiling shot, and we see Jonathan's beard. He's got us
Nice
muted
lights.
right now. I'm gonna throw him back.
Probably for the best.
I'm gonna put him in the green room here, and that way he can still hear us the whole time. Any rate, well, so Tony, real quick here, you guys now are you based out of Marion? Is that where you guys are from?
No, actually, we're based out of a town that's right next door, the town of Heron.
Oh, okay.
And for right now, until we can get a permanent location, we've been very blessed with the Heron Masonic Lodge lets us use the lodge for our training, and they don't charge us, which is really nice. I'm actually a member there, so you know, I get the lodge pretty much for free. But we do a lot of stuff to help them and to help raise money with the lodge and stuff. And in return, we get this great place to train. It's air conditioned, it's heated. You know, it's nice. It's a really, really nice place.
That's awesome.
But unfortunately, we're outgrowing our place with having as many dogs as we have now. It's getting tight in there. So we're trying to find somebody that's willing to donate us a piece of property. We're trying to get us an acre, and we want to stay in the county that we're in, because I'm actually trying to get a pretty big grant that they offer. There's a $400,000 grant that's going to be up for grabs, and I believe they're going to try and divvy it up between us and my partner, who is a counselor. He's actually a Navy, and he runs a counseling service that caters to vets and firefighters, police, you know, first line responders, that type of thing. And then I'm also paired up with it's a place called Haven House, and it's run by Trish Odom. She is this lady is a saint. She's not a veteran, but her husband is, and he suffers from Alzheimer's. And she takes care of him, and not only does she take care of him, but she runs a homeless shelter, one of the veteran-only homeless shelters in Illinois.
Wow.
And it's right in Marion. Literally, it's right down the road from my training facility. So Trish and I have been trying to collaborate to do some projects together, and she's got a nice piece of property out there, and we probably would be able to maybe get a piece of that land. But unfortunately, where it sits, it's on a floodplain, so we can't build anything there, which really kind of sucks for us.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, man, she has got an amazing setup down there. Right now, she's housing 10 homeless veterans in her home. She has a 6,500 square foot house that was refurbished.
Wow.
And to accommodate all these guys. And then outside of the house, she actually has, I want to say it's about 60 clients, 60 other veterans that she goes and checks on. And now these homeless vets, these are not just guys like us that you know are pretty capable. Some of the guys she's got in there, actually the VA has taken to her, and she's taking care of them. So some of them, you know, they have to be changed. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. And this lady, she's got a big staff, you know, but she does everything by donations as well. So we're trying to basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a network, kind of like what you guys have done.
Yep.
But we want to be able to kind of buffer what's going on with the VA. You know, the VA can't handle everything all at once. And a lot of times guys and gals fall through the cracks, or there's long wait times, or there's certain services that they cannot get that we're trying to provide for them. So the VA doesn't tell anybody about who you can go to for a service dog. I think that's ridiculous. Service dogs are proven that they help with PTSD and other ailments. My dog's trained for mobility.
Big
So,
time.
yeah, so my knees are trash. So, that's what I got out of the Marine Corps for. And he'll pick things up off the floor for me. He'll brace up so I can push off his back to get up off the floor. Just he'll push the exit button, the door open for me. I mean, he's pretty intelligent. But the VA is not taking advantage of this, and I'm actually in works with our Congressman of Illinois, Congressman Mike Bost. He is actually he is I guess he's the chairman, head of the chairman for the VA for all of the United States. And so I just had a meeting with him last Wednesday, and I'll tell you what, in the short time since now and then, he's reached out to me several times. He's posted stuff on his personal page. I mean, this guy, it seems like he's legit, and he's a Marine, so which is even better. And I'm really looking forward to working with him and seeing what kind of funding he can get us. But ultimately, getting back to what we've designed is that we're trying to create this network of other businesses, other veteran-owned businesses, whether they're non-for-profit or no cost to low cost. But we're trying to provide these guys with a service that they're not getting at the VA. And we're going to make our group a cookie cutter model that we can actually take across the country. And so if somebody in Texas wants to do this, they can contact me, and we can actually coach them through this and say, this is what we did, this is how we did it, and now you're responsible for your own group, so make it the best you possibly can. And when they need help, we're there to help them, just like we are our local guys. And so that's kind of what we're at. They hear dog training, but realistically speaking, we're a suicide prevention group. That ultimately is what we are. We are all about knocking the 22 down. If I can just save one life, it was worth it to me. I want to save them all, man. I mean, as we should all.
And Brian, I want to hand this over to you. This is something I learned quickly when I just started to get involved. When you're involved in veteran service, and you have a nonprofit, you may have your one area, but at the end of the day, dude, it doesn't matter what they need. Once you make connection, whatever they need, if they need a ride to the grocery store, I'm gonna get them a ride to the grocery store. You know what I mean? And Brian, I wanted to hand that over to you. This is what we talk about. The helping is healing. You have built that for us.
Yeah, so it goes right into that niche of the networking piece. So what I would actually offer you is for us to get on a conference call that's not recorded live, and just go over some different things that we can offer you, especially down in the Southern Illinois area, with our network that you saw just a little glimpse of there at the stadium that day. That includes the Marion VA, includes the group that owns the stadium, and just get in bed with a lot of people that have that like-mindedness of what you guys are passionate about, and just grow it from there. There's no promises guaranteed. It's just make the introduction and kind of step back in the shadows. But that's exactly what it's about. It's about doing whatever we can. An example of that is, when I forget what hurricane hit the South, hit the Gulf Coast, but we had part of our team go from California, and they were able to grab a stake bed truck with barrels, and they filled it up with fuel, because when the hurricane hit the Gulf, there was no fuel. They weren't pumping on the rigs or anything like that. Well, one of my Gold Star families was impacted by that, and we were able to link them up with her coordinates to where she was, and they were able to evacuate her out of her home in Katy, Texas, and save all of her late son's stuff. We lost him in Iraq, and she was able to get all his gear, all his flag, his portrait that was made, and they were able to get her out of the house with that. So that's part of that networking piece that we do. And Gene hit on it, you hit on it about the 22. That banner right there behind me is a testament to that. We utilized that wall that you saw there at the stadium as a statement piece, right? It opens the door for healing. That opens the door to have that conversation that otherwise veterans would not have. And sometimes it takes encroachment to be able to invade their space a little bit to get them to the wall, to be able to find that name they're looking for. And then next thing you know, you take a step back and you allow them to have that peace, and you see that transition take shape. And then you're there to coach them. You're there to help them. You're there to guide them. That old adage, you're never alone. We don't leave our troops behind. And that's exactly what we do with that wall is we take that as that conversation starter. And then we have these other programs like the Stop 22 utilizing music as a non-traditional form of therapy. The Warrior Field Ops that Gene runs for us out there along coinciding with the TPO, taking the vets and their families out there on the water, or in a camping environment on a horseback with some of our equine therapy partners. So it's all about that networking piece to reduce that number, because I agree with you, Tony. The VA is overwhelmed, they're inundated, and they don't have the proper resources to listen to what we are telling them. They're going off a script. It's like a telephone call center for a cable. They're going off a script in a binder or on a monitor, and if you don't hit these special wickets, they don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing that I ever learned is sometimes in order to lead, you got to learn how to follow. In order to follow, you got to shut your trap and open your ears, and that's what we do. So absolutely, I think that's what you were trying to get at, Gene. I'm not really sure, but
yeah,
it all kind of comes together in this nice tornado package.
It's the whole piece that it's ever evolving. And speaking of the listening, something happened on our last trip where I started noticing a bonding taking place at a critical time when normally I'd be like, all right, guys, let's go fishing. We got to get on the water before the sunlight starts going, or we're going to miss the top water bite. But I was watching what was taking place with these guys and the bonding that was happening, and the laughing and drinking coffee and just sharing stories. Now we're evolving to the point where we're going to build that into the curriculum of when we go out. I want there to be time that they can just, if they want it, they can take it. If they're not doing it, then cool, let's roll. Let's get on the water. It's not just about, for instance, in my example, it's not just kayak fishing. It's creating those bonds and those friendships that we're there. We're there for them. It doesn't matter what they need from here on out. And that's why the networking is so key, because we had one of our own had an issue with his service dog because of a guy that I met and I knew. He helped lead us to get going on something that we weren't real familiar with, man. Tony, your guidance with me getting that GoFundMe thing fired up. I'd never done that stuff before. That just wasn't in our wheelhouse, And so, dude, that was so critical. And, we're still a lot of work to do with that, but dude, it's got us off the ground and got us rolling, man. And that just simple sharing, advice piece between there, whatever it takes, man, that's the whole piece. Like you said, whatever services. I can't say we're giving recreational therapy because we don't have a recreational therapist on staff yet. Maybe in the future we'll get one. But I can tell you I've had them audit our stuff, and I've had them look, and I have modeled what we do really, really close to the advice that has been handed to me. So, we use it at recreational activities as a form of therapy, in that side. But, it just, like I said, it just goes to the whole piece of the networking and the do whatever it takes to take care of each other.
Yeah, I think each one of us has got its own. Yeah, we've got our own therapies, within our groups. That's like with my dog training. I tell these guys that's their mission. That's one of the things that I found that causes a lot of these guys to check out is lack of mission. And when we give them back a mission, and the mission for them is their dogs, I lead them, I teach them, but I'm building leadership as well. And it's amazing some of the testimonies these guys give and some of the things that they say. And it's like, I'm not looking for accolades, man. I'm just looking to be there for my brother, because I am my brother's keeper, and so it's tough because I've had a few that are gone, and I love what I do. I really do. And I love seeing these guys and gals blossom and come out of their comfort zone and to be able to re-engage in life, outside of their house, outside of their demons, they get out finally and they get some freedom in their own mind. And I think the dog training really, really helps them with that. And, that's my mission for them, and, with you and your fish and, even though you say you don't have the counseling thing, but you really are counseling, man. I mean, you really are. That being on the water is counseling, whether we want to see it or not. We're helping these guys, and it's the best kind of counseling. It's not the counseling saying you got to be there. It's the counseling that they go, hey, I want to be there. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about, man.
You just said something I wanted to throw up here just to show you like-minded. This is the RomansWarriorFoundation.org website, and right on our homepage, we are our brother's keepers right there. And it's just like-minded individuals, man.
Yeah,
Always cool to see.
yeah,
Well, and
that's awesome.
that's the pain state. You said there. Sometimes you have a few that weren't or that aren't, and unfortunately, that's the risk we take with the nonprofit world, right? Because we wear our passion on our sleeves and we put our heart in front of us, something that we were never trained to do by any means. But we put that heart in front of us to be able to take care of that troop, and sometimes that troop burns us.
Yeah.
The best thing that I've learned, and this has happened recently, a fellow service member burned us pretty good, and we're still dealing with some things from that, but they're not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to lean forward. If nothing more, we're going to lean into it even harder, because you're not going to break my spirit. You're not going to tell me no. You're not going to tell me that we can't do something that we've been doing for the past several years. We're going to lean into the fray. We're going to push forward. And it's not, let's fear the storm, because you know what, buddy? Just like you, Tony, we are the damn storm.
That's right.
Bringing it.
That's
we're
right.
going to help save our brothers. We're going to help continue to freaking help our brothers and sisters and get them the resources that they need. If we can't get it to them by means of our organizations, that network piece, we know who to call. Just like in the Marine Corps, right? I might not be the guy to have all the answers to fix the vehicle, but I know what manual to go pick up. I know where to find the resource value to get it done, and that's exactly what that network piece does. I'm off my soapbox, Gene.
No problem. I'm over here chiefing away on my vape. Sorry about that. I will say this. This is the one thing I'm learning, and you guys. So Tony, just to show you also. So the True Patriot Outfitters officially began operation in January of 2023 as well.
Oh, wow.
I had joined on with the Romans Warrior Foundation, and it started the work there. But my business was GC Fishing LLC. It was a limited liability company that I used on the fishing side of things. So I'm still very new in this nonprofit game, learning this stuff. But I will tell you, there is no question about it. And for the first time, I'm so proud of this, is that I do take this personal. Mm-hmm. And now I think, quite honestly, you have to in our line of work. Because if you don't, if it's not personal to you, maybe you're in it for the wrong reason, man.
Yeah.
But my background is that in business, I've got an MBA, and in that, you always learn that business, it's nothing personal. It's just business. It's da-da-da. And I always hated that. It's like, well, maybe it shouldn't just be just business. At what point do we start giving a shit that we're dealing with people, man? And this work that we do here, I do.
Well, and that's just it.
Go ahead.
And that's just it, Gene, because it is just our business to take care of those that need taken care of. We're not offering a handout. We're offering a hand up to better their circumstances through our resource value.
Absolutely, man.
There's your bumper sticker.
We got to make a T-shirt on that one.
That's right. It's
there you go.
It's one of those things that you just when something, someone, whatever does threaten or get in the way of the achieving the mission or somehow bringing in something else into it, man. I have found myself getting really territorial. That it's like no. We have a mission here of what we're set out to do. And I believe in my brothers and sisters that are all a part of this one family and what we're trying to get done. And that's that. Nothing else.
Right.
It's not about credit. It's not about who did what. It's about there are thousands and thousands of people out there that we need to reach. And I learned this from you, Brian. If we got to do it one at a time, by God, that's exactly what we'll do. But I'd like to do it a little bit more than one at a time. We could get to more that way, but if we have to do it one at a time, that's fine. Until I don't have breath coming out of this, lumpy body of mine, we're gonna keep on trucking, with this thing.
That's just it, man.
Right.
You got to keep
I was
moving forward. You got to keep moving forward no matter what. And I have that same attitude. It's I've had some people on my team that in the beginning they're like, oh, we got to do this, oh, we got to do that, oh, we got to do this, and I said, whoa, pump the brakes. First off, I'm the engineer right now,
Yep.
and I've got a vision of what I want, and of course the people that give me that grief. I don't want to say grief. That want extra. They're my civilians. I have one civilian on staff, and all the rest of my board members, they're all veterans. And but she kind of keeps us knuckleheads in line. We got to have that. But I told her in the beginning, I said, listen, you've got to trust me on this. I know what I'm doing. I says, I know the group that I'm trying to reach. I know what the mission is. I said, you got to trust me. And she said, you know what, I will. And I'll tell you what, now she's like my greatest cheerleader, and my biggest supporter. And the funny thing is I live this. I eat, sleep, and breathe this. Sometimes my wife is like, you know what, you're doing too much. You need to slow down. I'm like, no, I know I'm on a mission, and that mission is not over. And now I've got my staff is the same way. They're like, they trust me, and it's a great feeling. But it's like I want you guys to all be the leaders as well. So if I'm ever out of the picture, if something happens to me, I want to know that this mission goes on for as long as it can possibly go on. Because like you said, we have to continue to reach as many of these guys and gals as possible. We're in the business of saving lives right now. And, and we do that in our way, whether it's through dog training, whether it's through fishing, whether it's through music, whatever it may be. We're saving lives, whether we realize it or not. And we're not in it for the, like I said, that attaboy or the pat on the back. We're in it because we truly love these guys. They're our brothers. They're our brothers and our sisters. And you know what? That feeling of camaraderie never went away from me. And it feels that way for you guys as well, And man, I tell you, if you ain't passionate about what you do, go find something you're passionate to do.
Agreed, man. And that whole putting your whole life into it, that sounds really familiar to me. I happen to know a guy, and his name rhymes with Roman, who his entire family has dedicated themselves to this mission. The studio that he's in right now, that he's talking to you from. Yeah, you, Smiley. I think there's a delay in sound reaching him now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. That's all right, though. We'll hold tight.
I'm eating crayons, man. Leave me alone. I'm fiending.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's funny that you said that.
Got red flavor going on.
One of my newest students, I got him a donated dog and got him set up. And I come over to his house, and he goes, hey, man, he says, I've been wanting to give this to you for a little while. And he pulls out of his cupboard crayon bubble gum. And I'm like, you dirty bastard. I says, you know what? I'm going to get you back for that.
Bubble gum? That's freaking awesome.
This whole crayon thing wasn't around when I was in the Marines. I don't remember it anyway. I mean, I was in during 90, 91-ish, and I hear these newer Marines talk about eating crayons. I'm like, what happened to the Marine Corps? My beloved Marine Corps, you're eating crayons. Worst thing we ate was MREs.
Social media and TikTok took over the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Now they started doing stuff about the crayon stuff when I was making my transition out as well. I had an Army buddy and his twins. They came up from Louisville one weekend, and they're just giggling as soon as they walk in the door. We do the bro hug, I hug the kids and all that good stuff. And then the son, or I'm sorry, the daughter is just laughing her tail off. I'm like, what is so funny? And he goes, go ahead, give it to him, give it to him. They pull out Crayola cereal, Crayola gummies, and a box of that gum.
Oh my gosh.
That's messed up.
Oh,
I was
man.
trying
I'm
to
like,
remember
bro, you're
where
not going to hurt my feelings. I'll eat it all in front of you with a smile on my face. I don't care.
I was at a muster with a bonfire going on, and someone was saying something this and this, and I loved it. There was one Marine there, amongst all these other guys, and the guys, were giving him this and this, and he's like, jokes on you guys because the purple one actually tastes good.
Hey, just because it says the color is grape does not mean that that's the flavor.
No,
Right.
exactly. And speaking of Army buddies,
Yeah,
our man Jonathan, he sent a message here that says they are moving to a different site there at the campground. To give you a short recap here, they just got into North Dakota from Minnesota. They got in there. He was going to be set up and everything good to go, but they have an open neutral on their power. And apparently the whole side of this campground has this issue. So they're moving him to a different location now as we speak. I see he's still in the green room through a connection, but doesn't look like they're set up. We may or may not get him. Well, I figure we can keep trading stories here and talking about some cool things coming up. But hopefully we'll get him back in here. But so with that being said, let's talk about, so we were, Tony, we were in Marion when we met you there. We were working with Black Diamond, the Thrillbillies. Only got in 2 of the 4 games. Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, canceled a couple nights because of weather.
Yeah, two games got rained out.
That was a super cool event, and as all events go, we learned a bunch of cool stuff to improve upon, for the next venue, when next time we come back, that sort of thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, boss, but I have a feeling we'll definitely be back with Black Diamond and those guys, looking in the future there some more with them. Correct?
Yes, they've asked us to come back, enthusiastically asked us to come back to the Black Diamond area. Probably not going to be around the 4th. It may be a different time period, but they have asked us to enthusiastically come back.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We've got, of course, a big one that's coming up here is the Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson here in Colorado on 9/11. We're going to be here from the 8th through the 8th through the 13th. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the evening of the 12th. Yeah.
Okay, so 8th through the 12th. Big ceremony taking place on is it the 9th?
The 9th.
10th? 9th.
The 9th. Yep.
We've got local fire department going to be in there. CVMA is truly the Front Range Chapter 3-6 is who really put this whole thing and bridged us together, man, with Thunder Mountain. Thunder Mountain is probably, if not the most prolific Harley Davidson, dealership in the state. They're huge. They used to have an amphitheater. There's a BMW car dealership where that amphitheater used to sit now. But nevertheless, Thunder Mountain, they do phenomenal outreach into the public with their work. Of course, Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association 3-6 right up there in their neck of the woods. So it made for a simple deal, but that's going to be a huge one. I mean, that's going to be one of our bigger events here in Colorado we've seen yet.
Yeah, they've already laid the groundwork. So CVMA is they're not hosting, but they are essentially, for lack of better words, they're co-hosting or partnering with Thunder Mountain to be able to bring us in. And they've already raised a lot of funds to be able to cover the overall donation for the wall, getting the Stop 22 tour guys in there, which Mr. Jonathan Wells is one of those that will be there. They've asked for the David Cobb Memorial Car, and we've even got contact with the young lady who had the American Patriot 911 custom V-Rod at Shields. She's trying to get that over there as well to be able to have it out there. So it's going to be a big what to do. I'm being told there's some fireworks. There's some other special little events. A state speaker is going to be, a state representative is going to be the main speaker. We're going to have a color guard, taps, the whole 9 yards. Just kind of commemorating that time period. The wall the whole event, and it's all overlooking I-25, which is just amazing.
Yeah, man, and that's the 9/11. As we said, this wall that the Romans Warrior Foundation takes around the country, it pretty much is our generation's Vietnam Wall, man. It's what we grew up with, literally starting from the Kuwait situation, storm, rolling up. Now, the wall, we go all the way back to the global war on terror's beginning of course, 1983. But the stuff that hit the media, obviously that where boots on the ground, started taking place on a massive scale. 9/11, when it got up to that, I mean, that's when the numbers went through the roof, and that is the majority, of what we see out there as far as the contact that we make. We have others that that date further
Right.
back, but the lion's share of the folks that come to see that are coming from Iraq and Afghanistan. That's right at it. So this is so huge. 9/11 holds a special time, I think, in all of our hearts, for that piece. So this is, I'm super stoked. I'm not going to be able to be there for the ceremony because I'll be in Kansas finishing up chasing some fish and trying to further the cause that way, but I'll be back. We'll be back on the 10th, and we'll come literally right from the lake from Kansas right to Thunder Mountain and get the trailer dropped off there. Hey, I got a Jonathan Wells. We got a Punisher Army guy down here. Hang on a sec. Wha-bam. How we doing, brother?
A day.
It's been a day.
A day. We got to one of the only campgrounds in Fargo, North Dakota, and booked solid. And every single one of their sites has power issues.
Oh no.
They've apparently even shut down like 8 or 10 sites on a B loop down there because the power is so jacked up that it was destroying campers.
Yeah.
So I finally found their emergency overnight site that the 30 amp would work. The other one, I thought I could get it to work on another site, but it was intermittent. So yeah, we've been having fun and prepaid, booked 2 nights, and they're like, yeah, we'll refund you a couple bucks. So we have to move again in the morning. We're supposed to be here 2 nights. We got to move again in the morning to make it work.
Oh my gracious.
And we came here because Kendra's from here, so we're trying to go see a thing called Bonanzaville with the kids tomorrow, like a prairie historic site thing.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't want y'all waiting any longer on me, so I got everything level. We're backed in. We're level. Our steps go out to the busy street, so everybody's going to be real careful walking out of the camper this evening. Yeah, but all in all, it's part of the adventure.
That's
part of the
right.
adventure.
Army life.
I was
That's
gonna say, the Wells family of life, man. This is the adventure trip that you guys are on. For those of you who don't know, this warrior here has taken he and his entire family, and they're on the road, traveling around the United States here on a once in a lifetime opportunity to take in these different areas and sites. But while he's doing that, he's also stopping off for our events for the Stop 22 tour. Oh, is that? Are you raising something?
That's Jonathan. He's doing his.
Oh,
he's doing
sorry.
his,
I'm sorry. I'm running a jack while we talk. I'm actually unhooking my truck as we speak, so I'm multitasking.
I'm gonna silence your mic for just one
Oh,
second.
sorry.
That's okay.
You're good. You're good.
There we go.
Yeah, he's got a power
Moses.
jack on that trailer, and that's what that was.
Gotcha. But yeah, he's also stopping off on making his trip join in with us on the foundation in hitting these Stop 22 events as well. He was there with at Marion at the Thrillbillies. He's going to be with us here at Thunder Mountain. Is he going to try to make the Cottage Grove one as well?
We talked about it, the Cottage Hills. Yeah, we talked about it, and it depends on his schedule.
Right.
He may. So it all scheduled pending. Tony, did you get a chance to meet Jonathan at the Thrillbilly Stadium?
I don't think we did. He and I actually talked on the phone a little bit once when we were starting to get his the GoFundMe for Bella set up, and so he and I talked for a little bit. I wish we could have got to meet there. We passed each other a couple times, but it was just so much going on. It was like, well, I'll get to meet him, and then of course, and then it was over.
Yeah, you can't miss him. He's the tall guy in the kilt, as he calls the guy in the skirt.
Well, see, I almost wore my kilt that one day too, and I seen he was wearing it. I'm like, oh man, he's got it. I'll let him wear it.
he's almost got me to the point of buying one now.
There can't be any almost here. There's got to be a purchasing. Gene, when I get to Colorado, I fully expect us to go yakking in a kilt.
Yak? Oh my gracious!
Okay, I'm just saying the kilted yacker. It's a thing now.
Well, that's a good place to capture the air if you go down. So.
This is what I'm saying. We're going to get tickets.
Hey, Gene. You know the motto for wearing a kilt is, make the world your urinal. Wear a kilt.
So I got married in a kilt, but the kilt that I have is a very traditional, and it's for dress. It's not a good utility kilt for take it out on a normal day or whatever. It's complete, just way too expensive and too hot to try to wear around.
There you go.
No such thing as a non-kilted day.
As I
tell you what, I guess Tony and I are going to have to go get a firefighter kilt.
I've got a couple already. I've got my family kilt, and then I've got my utility kilt like he's got on.
As the tokens, one of the Scottish guys here, I will say, why that Scotsmen wear kilts?
I do.
It's because sheep can hear zippers.
Maybe that's why in your family.
Oh my.
Hey, listen, in my family, it's because that when God looks down, he sees his son, and when the devil looks up, he's very, very afraid.
See, that is what we call T-ball.
Name Rocky Mountain Oysters.
Wait, did you say you could turn off Brian's mic? What? Oh, we didn't level it first. Pull the extenders up.
While Jonathan's on here, I want to take a second, Tony, and just say we on behalf of the Romans Warrior Foundation as a whole, we appreciate you guys jumping into action to be able to get things kickstarted for Bella and for the Wells family. So we really, truly appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's dealing with service dogs, but more than anything, it's dealing with a brother. And, like I said, we got to take care of each other. Nobody takes care of a vet like another vet. That's a fact.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the way we all got to see things, man. If we really want to keep the whole mission moving forward and keep helping each other out like we're supposed to, that's just the way I feel, man. And I'm glad I could help, and I'm glad we can get something going. I am a little disappointed that more people haven't stepped up to the plate, but we're going to start pushing it even harder on Facebook. So, and then Jonathan, I got some more money for you, brother. A couple of my students in my class, they had given me some cash at training last night, actually. So I'll be depositing that, and then I'll be sending that over to you.
I appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much. Actually, I can show you. I'll walk over here. Their kids are sitting with Bella while we set up. So let's see. Kate's sitting there with
driver's seats.
Oh yes, she's hard to keep down. Hey, puppy, you're on the internet, baby. And wait, hold on, baby. Let's show them your leg. Show them your leg. Yeah, she's been hard to keep down. The last 2 days, it's been more of a struggle to make her stop doing. Yep. She wants to be with everybody, wants to be doing stuff constantly, and this is even on she's right now even on tranquilizers.
Oh wow. Now she's got some pit in her, right?
No, she's I'm not really sure. She's mainly Dutch Shepherd. She's got a little bit of mutt. But the brindle, I think the brindle came from the Dutchy side. I think. Well, all I know, she was a rescue. I got her when she was 3 months old, and I was told by the rescue folks that somebody paid $800 to get the lady who had her to let her go.
Oh, wow.
And to rescue her from the situation she was in, and got to the rescue, and I went actually looking for a cat for my second oldest daughter for Christmas, and they had no cats, and they had all these dogs. These dogs in this place were driving me nuts. They were everywhere, bouncing up and down, yapping, yipping, yapping, jumping, all this stuff, all this chaos going on. And right in the middle of all that stuff was this little kid. I mean, all these other dogs had, even smaller dogs had adults holding them back. And Bella's sitting over there at 3 months old as a puppy, a little bit smaller than she is now, and just chill, just looking around. I walked over to her, and she was like wagging her tail like, hey, what's up? But didn't jump, didn't bark, didn't yap. I was like, okay, I'm kind of a fan of a calm, collected dog. And so we welcomed her in the family, and started, and I always said I would never, growing up I had dogs that were just, my family didn't know any better. I mean, just a dog that not trained, just lived outside. And I said, I'll never have a dog that's not trained. And so she and I immediately both went to school. And she hasn't left my side hardly at all since, and hangs out with the family all the time. When she's not, we call it, working, quote unquote, with me. When she's out and about with me, she thinks she's one of the kids. I mean, yeah. She's been a phenomenal dog and calms me down a lot.
Oh yeah, it's funny how they do that, man. I was telling these guys, with my vets in class, it's amazing to see the transformation of what a dog can actually do for you. And I know mine saved my life several times. And, I wouldn't be here today without them. And, now I've got these other guys and gals that are relying on me to get them the training that they need for their dogs. And it's just really, it's an awesome thing to watch. And I'm so glad that you have that dog. And I'm so glad that you went through with that surgery for her. And I just hope and pray that you get many, many more years with that dog. And
me too.
She's your family, really, truly. And
100%.
Yeah, I tell you what, I don't know where I'd be without my buddy.
Yeah.
But,
and it's one of those things too, is I joke around because it's like, there's days when she'll aggravate the fire out of me about something.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade that dog for nothing. Yeah. Like I said, the way and not only, I think honestly, even one of the things that she does for me as well, that I guess I wasn't anticipating as much, is her relationship with my girls. I've got 5 little girls. I've got 15 down to 4.
Wow.
And those little girls, especially, we call them the 3 littles, 9, 7, and 4, when they are out in the yard playing, but like when we've been out and about, they're at a campground or they're at somebody's house or this, that, and the other, she will stay with me. She'll make sure she can still see them. She looks out for them. If I tell her to go, like they want to, like, we're at campgrounds, I've sent her with them to the playground. Mm-hmm. I tell her, it's so funny too, because we'll get ready to go to the bathhouse, and I'll just tell her, I'll be like, look, you stay right here, because like maybe some of the kids are still there, or Kendra's there, or whatever. I'll be like, nope, stay here. I'm going to the bathroom. She'll go and sit right at the edge of at the campsite, and she'll do what I told her to do, but she's waiting for me to come back.
Oh yeah.
And then same thing with the kids. If I tell her to go with the kids, she's like, okay, and it's like she automatically knows, hey, oh, Daddy gave me this job. Now I need to, because it reduces my anxiety when the kids are out.
Yep.
To know excuse me, to know that this dog that is so loving and playful and everything else, who delivery drivers are scared to death of. You know, well, I mean, and like I said, I mean, she's a real good judge of character and judge of people, and so she won't let anybody mess with the kids, which that eases my mind
Yeah.
a lot as well. So she not only looks out for me and raises my spirits when I'm having a bad day or not enjoying the company of many people.
Feel you there.
Yeah. So you know, she looks out for me, and she gives me something to focus on too. So yeah, she's been great. And I look, and that's the other thing too, is she's so smart. I really look forward to continuing her training. I mean, like she's always up for learning more things, and so I've really enjoyed just continuing to teach her.
Oh yeah, training never stops with our dogs, man. I have people ask me all the time. They say, "Oh, is your dog still in training?" I said, "My dog is always in training." You know, because especially with headstrong dogs, if you don't stay on their training, they're going to eventually walk on you. You know, and they'll do what they want, like a kid. And but yeah, it's a constant training. It's a life commitment to that dog. So.
Yeah. For sure. Well, and that's what I decided as an adult. She's actually my first dog as an adult, and I decided a long time ago. I said, if I ever own another dog in my life, I commit to that dog that not only will I feed it and house it, because I mean, growing up, that's all I knew to do with a dog. You know, it's all my family did with the dog was just you just feed it and house it, and then you play with it every once in a while. I was like, nope, that's no quality of life for the dog, for me, and if I'm going to make that commitment, I'm going to do it 100%. And so, I mean, that's why the dog lives with us just like one of the kids, and we treat her the same way. You know, I mean, she's awesome, and I tell you too, I really appreciate all the help you guys have reached out with, because I mean, of course, I mean, you know, Gene and Brian and Steven and the guys from Stop 22. I mean, we're all friends. I mean, so we don't only talk shop and music and charity events and these things. I mean, we also rag on each other and call each other and check on each other's families, and all gamuts of the spectrum. And hey, it is what it is. No, right, whatever. Go have some crayons, Maureen. I left you some purple ones in the drawer. But the whole thing about it is that when, just in passing, telling Steven, I knew he was getting ready for Vet Fest. We've been texting about that. I was saying, hey, how's it going? This, that, and the other. And then stuff came up with Bella, and I let him know. And of course, especially within our brotherhood, especially if you tell Stephen Cochran, 15 people will know before you get off the phone if there's somebody in need. And that's it's a difficult road for me to walk, is because I'm like, part of me just says, well, I'm a man, I stand on my own 2 feet. Hey, life has its punches, and I take them as they come, and sometimes you take it on the chin, okay. And sometimes you have to make really hard decisions, and sometimes that is the case, but also realizing that I struggle with a lot of times. I think what a lot of guys struggle with is, even when we know and we say all the time, hey, you're not alone. Hey, you're not alone.
That's right.
There's still so much time, so much in this world tries to tell you and tries to convince you that you are. And and so that, I don't know whether it's that independence, that American, individualism, coupled with that feeling as well. It's very hard to say, hey, it's very hard to say, hey, I need help. I mean, in whatever it is, but for me, with my story, is especially financially, is to say, hey, because it is one of those things. It's like, well, you just figure out a way, and and deal with it by yourself, and that's the way most of my life's been. So, I really appreciate y'all basically not letting me go it alone, and stepping out, you know.
If I could interject in here, just a couple things. First and foremost, you made a statement about us all being friends. I'm gonna correct you on that. We're family, brother. That's the point on this. Is it's more than a friendship. It's family. I mean, your beautiful family, their well-being. I mean, we're all in that to make sure they're okay. And it's when you said that, about that's a common thing about, especially combat veterans. That's the last thing you want is, number one, anybody feeling sorry for you, because that's a load of shit. We're not dealing with that. And two, it goes to the part that it's so much more than just, each one of us individually. You're doing so much to heal so many people out there, bro, that this is so vitally important that we keep you on the road and we keep you out there. And the last thing we want to see is something derail that, because it's too damn important what you're doing out there with your family and the healing you're bringing on every stop. When you open that pie hole of yours and that beautiful, amazing sound starts flowing out, bro, that is, it touches even those of us that are non-combat, non-veterans. When you sing, man, it just pierces right through our soul. And it's important we keep you out there, brother. And that for me, that was why it was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. This is not even work. This is something you just go do. Let's get after this, in any way we can.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, yeah.
So the cool thing with Jonathan and being able to spend a lot of time with his family while we were doing our first half of summer West Coast swing, so to speak, is setting up his stuff for him to sing, right? So his daughters are right there with him. They're setting up the pedals. His wife is bringing over the monitor, so to speak, and everybody's involved with it. And then when he starts playing, it caught me completely by surprise. We were sitting at this campground and it had a little lake, and we got him set up, or he got him set up inside the lake house or the clubhouse, so to speak. So next thing you know, I'm telling the kids, hey, you guys go around the campground, tell them all a free concert, let them warm up, right? So instead of them coming to the house, they all sat in their lawn chairs around the lake. Well, then he starts strumming his guitar, he starts singing, and then there's this small little voice singing word for word right along with him, and she's in tune. And I look over, and it's his daughter. And it's the harmony is there, and she's right there with him, and she's swaying to him, and she's just rocking and rolling right along with Dad. So then we go to Marion, right? And I tell her, I said, "How don't you get up there with your dad and sing with him?" "Oh no, I'm not ready for that." Yes, you are. You got people that believe in you. Get up there. It's a family dynamic. You're doing more, because what it was doing, in just my observation, Jonathan, I'm not trying to pick on you, but what it was doing is, while Jonathan is providing a craft and the lyrics in some of his songs, especially Bullets, it's bringing people together, but at the same time, having his daughter there with him, I saw it bringing them closer together as well.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, they've been singing along, and so on that note, I'll tell you a funny, really cute story, and I think Kendra got a video of it the other night. Saturday night, we went over to some family's farm for a little cookout, and I, of course, took my guitar. They were like, "Hey, you're going to come play?" I said, "Yeah, I'll play a little bit." And so when we went through Winterset, Iowa, of course, I'm a huge John Wayne fan, so we stopped at John Wayne's birthplace and stayed in Winterset for a weekend. Learn that lesson the hard way. Hey, when the weekends come around, just stay put, because campgrounds are booked. And, yeah, almost didn't make it one weekend. But so we stayed in Winterset over the weekend, and it was great. Hang out, small town America, little town in Iowa. Kids love the library, ice cream shop, all this stuff. And of course, I found a cidery. Since I have to be gluten-free, I had to skip the brewery, but I found a cidery, and they didn't have any music on Friday night. And I was like, "Hey, you mind if I just bring my guitar out and play a little bit?" And they said, "Well, yeah, sure." So I went and did that. Well, on the way there, I learned a song by an artist named Jay Hartley called John Wayne. and it's a really cool song. I've really enjoyed learning it. But I didn't realize, as I'm playing that song over and over and over while we're riding or this, that, and the other, the 4-year-old, now it's become the family theme song. Every time we get in the truck, hook up the camper, and get ready to roll out, she goes, Daddy, can you play John Wayne? And so we play this song. Well, we've played it so much, I think all of the kids have memorized it. So, and the little one is, of course, 4 years old, cute as a button, and she's actually singing really well, especially for a 4-year-old. You don't expect a 4-year-old to be, on key. But that child, that 2 nights ago, I was sitting there playing. I said, well, hey, Carolyn, you want to come help me sing this? Yeah. She comes over. That child sang every word to that song, and finally it got to a part, and there's one part of the song where you stop playing and just say, John Wayne. I stop. I didn't say a thing, and all you hear is this little 4-year-old go, John Wayne. Dude, made my week. So yeah, so we've been having a good time, and they do. That's one of the things that surprised me as we've been on this adventure with Jesus and our family, selling our house and moving into this 35-foot prowler with 7 people. To do this family trip is, I asked my oldest, because of course she's the oldest and she's probably the most cramped of all of us. And I said, what do you think about this family trip, this family adventure? And she says, I think I'm looking forward to the most is seeing you play again. I've been with Stop 22 Tour since the beginning. I took a few years off after some family tragedy, and I did benefits. I did Stop 22's tour stuff local around Nashville, but I didn't travel much anymore and just didn't feel like playing for several years, and got back into it a couple years ago, really started playing again, finding my love again for that and for just the healing music brings. And when she told me, she was like, I'm looking forward to being there at campgrounds and everywhere else as we travel for a few months and just hearing you play again. So like, that's what I remember the most from, because of course when she was little, I was on the road hard and playing all the time, multiple times a week. And she would go, and I'd have a friend, another musician, watch her or something, she'd go with me, and I'd be like, hey, hang out with this guy, hang out with my buddy Goose while I do this thing. And of course, she's like, okay, and then my buddy's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it'll be okay. She's 3, it'll be fine. And I think she watched him more than he watched her, but didn't realize how much that of an impact that made on her when she was little. And so that's been a fun thing to rekindle that joy as a family of doing music together. It's Dad playing music, but we're all involved, and so that's been really cool. And then the encounters at campgrounds in Winterset with a vet from the Vietnam era, whose son's also a vet, whose grandson's a vet, who lives near Nashville and who's been struggling, and says, hey, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm from just outside of Nashville. He goes, my grandson really needs to hear this music. And I said, well, here's all the information. Here's my information. Here's Stop 22 Tour. We do an event once a month in Murfreesboro and Columbia, and we're starting them all over the place. And he was like, wow. He said, we need more of this. And just a random, of course, like I said, random encounter at a campground. And you could see that this granddad, I think the thing that was most impactful to me is I didn't realize just sitting there playing a song for this older gentleman would give him hope for his grandson.
And we talk about that all the time. It's that if we got to do it one at a time, man, it's that domino effect, right? I mean, it just connects when we keep our opportunities open and keep expanding the network and keep the mission out there and keep moving. That sort of thing, that it becomes possible then that we can reach people like that. The only way it's not possible is if we're not doing it. So anything that gets in the way, hell or high water, we blast through it. and keep moving, and figure it out. I mean, that's what has to happen at the end of the day. Dude, you have a gift, Jonathan. There's no question about it. We've talked about this all the time. My wife and I, every time we know that you're going to be on the card there, it's like we're super stoked. Yes, the kilt, of course. You're hitting my heritage there, but dude, your voice, and I've got you on YouTube now, and back when you were with the band.
Yeah, Roadside Relics. Yeah.
Yep, I've got that. Listening to Dig non-acoustic was like, oh my gosh, this is freaking amazing. But and it doesn't, any one of the songs that you do, man, it strikes through. So the fact that you can share that with your kids and other people out there, so important, man. It's beyond words on the importance of why we got to keep you doing what you're doing, for sure. So folks, if you haven't had a chance yet, please make sure check out on the True Patriot Outfitters, Romans Warrior Foundation, Stop 22, Stephen Cochran, Down the Leash, Service Dogs. All of us have the GoFundMe listed up there. If you're not in a position to be able to donate, no worries. We all get that, right? But it doesn't take anything but about 10, 15 seconds for you to write a quick sentence and throw it on your Facebook page. Get it out there, because you never know who else out there is maybe in a position where they want to help. They want to do something like this. And that's exactly, we get a chance to actually use social media for the right freaking reasons. A non-political, non-horse shit reason is in front of you, and you could do some good with it. That literally, like you said, by doing this one thing here, we have no idea what the next connection is going to be and where it's at down there. And if you met Bella or you met Jonathan and his family, it wouldn't even be a question. There's no. Bella is an amazing, beautiful spirit. My wife and I fell in love with her the first chance we met her as well. You can see how she is 100% very particular about her family. She keeps tabs on everybody, man. She's watching them all over. If the girls are moving around, she's got them all, and she's always watching where Dad's at. That's all. It's a super, super cool thing to see unfold. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. We're like about an hour 20 here. This is like we're getting dangerously close to approaching like the longest podcast I've had yet. Normally, when fishermen get together, we can just gab and gab. But I think, vets and fishermen seem to be about the same thing. There's good stories to be told. The only difference is you guys aren't telling lies like we do in the fishing world.
None that you know of, anyway.
Fish.
Right.
That's right. So the two big events we have for Stop 22 in the wall, we've got Thunder Mountain and then Cottage Hills. Is that what it's called?
Cottage Hills VFW, which Tony, that's right in your backyard, your neck of the woods, man. We'd love for you guys to come down and join us during that event. I've got the flyer up on our Facebook page. I'll send you the flyer personally and the radio interview that was done by the host, Tim Brown. Just another opportunity for you to get embedded into that network that you just were officially announced as a part of. So congratulations,
all right.
Condolences, and welcome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you guys. We're just expanding that much more. So my network, like you said, your network became mine. Mine is yours now. So, we can double our size and reach more guys and gals out there and truly make a difference in this world, man. Because there's a lot of people out there that need some help, and if we can provide them with some little bit, then hey, it's a good day.
100%.
Yep.
Man.
For sure.
So let me make something very clear. Do you want some puppies? I can bring some puppies to you. Is that what I saw on Facebook?
Man, I tell you what, I had a lady try giving me a dog today, and and I had gotten one of the litter mates that I had gotten donated to one of my other vets, and who's also a Marine, another one for us.
Okay.
But anyway, I guess she couldn't handle the dog, or the dog got too big, and so now they can't handle their pet, so they want me. And I had to put a thing on Facebook that I'm not a rescue. Yeah, I try to rescue other veterans, but not dogs. and we're not set up with a kennel, so and I run a very unique thing. There's other groups that train dogs, and then they gift a veteran with a dog. That's not how we roll. I take the veteran in and I get them the schooling that they need, and then they're with me for the next year to year and a half. And I know that if they're with me, and I know that I've got that connection with them, that's another. I'm just another safety net, I think. And people that's within my class are just another safety net for that veteran. And so that's I get people trying to give me dogs all the time, though.
All right, so what you're saying is we need to give you vets.
Yes, please. And then we can get dogs. I have no problems getting dogs.
So when am I coming down there?
Hey, come on down, brother. You're always welcome.
You gonna adopt me too?
That's right.
I come with a few extra though.
Hey, that's all right. Listen, in my program too, which really kind of sets us apart is, not only do we train our veterans, but I also train their spouses, their significant others, their children. Because here's the thing. Jonathan, if you're out in the store and your dog is working and you go down and nobody's there, who's going to handle that dog? So I want my dogs to be multi-handled so that, God forbid, you and me were out and, next thing you know, I go down. Well, I want you to be able to handle my dog, so that's kind of what we teach. And I want, it also helps with the training of the dog within the home too, because, a dog will get away with something with a different person than they will the actual handler. So, I mean, that. Yeah. I'm sure you see that with yours.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny because Bella knows that I don't cut her any slack.
Yeah.
When I ask her something, it gets done. And it's funny because you say you teach kids. Now, how do we teach kids? Because we could teach some kids about dishes, about laundry, but Bella, it's funny is that dog, seriously, because I've told my wife, I said, you can't let her get away with this. She knows she does not ask me for food or sit and look at me while I'm eating.
Yeah.
She knows that, nope, you just sit down, lay down next to me, and we're good. But it's so funny is my wife has occasionally slipped her a little something. Bella will sit next to me, but she'll kind of side look at mommy. I'm like, I watch her doing it. I'm like, dog. And you see her, she gives me these little sheep eyes and puts her head down. She's like, nope, I wasn't looking. I wasn't doing a thing.
So I'm originally from Chicago, and we call that being on the take.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. All right, fellas, well, listen.
I've been on too long. I know.
Yeah, we need to let you guys get to your families here and go get things squared away. Gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough for spending time here and just sharing stories with us and talking about Down the Leash, the Romans Warrior Foundation, Stop 22, all the work that goes on out there. It's important to let people know why we continue to ask for their support out there and what what the mission truly looks like when it's taking place. We talk about the mission a lot, and we all know that that's a big, broad deal when we say the mission, because there's a lot involved in that. So it's cool to see all the functioning parts going on there. Brian, I am so glad she got the looks of her mother, because he's a good looking little boy, so that poor kid would have been it would have been in for it if he'd have looked like his dad. Oh, nice. Look, see, training. Yeah. Speaking of, he's got him. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Folks, make sure to go check out Down the Leash. Hang on a sec here if I was better on my job, which I'm not.
Down the Leash Service Dogs.
Yep, Down the Leash Service Dogs. Right there. Bam. We got you.
Awesome.
Facebook.
Fancy.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Hey.
All right. We spare no expense here at the True Patriot Outfitters. And you saw it in the intro video there. It's got all of Jonathan Wells and the Stop 22 information where you can go get his music. You can go check him out at his website there. All that information is listed in the opening deal. If you're joining us watching this on a recorded setup here, you're a warrior for hanging in with us for an hour and a half. So thank you very much. Make sure to smash that subscribe, smash the follow button. Gentlemen, I'll get with you here right after we roll out of the credits. Folks, as always, tight lines and be safe.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.